Okay. No, we don't want to do that. Here, let's do this. Nope, not what I wanted. First things first, I do need to load my stream up to make sure people can hear me. Let's go ahead and stack it. There we go. Sweet. You there. Nice. Although it's not perfectly stacked, I'll take it. Let's listen in. Let's go. Good. So we can hear, we can see. We're live. Make sure my wife knows that we're live too. I'm still here, don't worry guys. I'm just doing some benchmarking actually. I can actually close my door here as well. Sorry if that was loud guys. Let me jump into I gotta jump into GTA 5 here. I don't like benching GTA 5, it's just long and annoying. Ugh. Oh, it's so nice to be back with good frame rate and oh sweet. Okay. Ooh. There's a quest back here. This was not here yesterday. Ooh. Oh, I'm not high enough. Okay, that's fine. I can still go to Dark Shore and do stuff. So, for those of you that are interested, I went to Microcenter. I don't want to say on accident. So, for those of you who know, me and my wife just went on our honeymoon. And one of the things we wanted to do while we were gone was go to New York City. Neither one of us have been there. Interesting experience. One that I would do differently next time. I love driving. Been racing my whole life. Needless to say, driving New York City is not something on my bucket list to do again. I would definitely take public transportation going forward. But either way, there was a Microcenter on the way back. And I decided that I needed a couple things. So, some things I needed include this. Didn't need it, but I wanted it. But there was more to it than that. So, I'm going to wait till maybe a couple people get on here. Get my frame rate up here. Good, good, good. Okay, Dark Shore. Which one gives me... No. No. Warfront. No. What quest did I get? Okay, Shores as old as are. Okay. So... I feel like I need to go back. So, something that happened. So I went to Microcenter. I got stuff that I needed. And I'll be honest, I am probably not going to go to Microcenter again. And I don't want to say it's necessarily their fault. But the problem is that I don't live near a Microcenter. And if anything happens to any of the units that I have, where? Okay, that's where I need to go. You have to return it to a Microcenter within your 30 days. The problem with that is I don't live near it. And one of the things that I bought, so I'm gonna, okay, so you guys can see a little bit here, is I have a portrait monitor. So you guys know I've been looking for something like that for a while. So far I'm happy with it. That may change. But the problem is that the stand doesn't work. So the stand was, I guess, essentially seized is the word I was looking for, right? So it's seized and I'm unable to adjust it up and down. Now, I wasn't at the time. Obviously, that's changed. And when I called them, they said, you have to bring it back. Well, you know, that's not a good solution. Like, Microcenter needs to understand that a vast majority of their customers are not local. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are, right? So, I could be wrong. But I have a feeling that a lot of them that spend the big money, not the odds and ends, but the big money, a lot of them don't live right down the street. And the problem with that is if you want to return something, yeah, I know, I'm live, it makes it very difficult. They want you to actually come by and return it. And I don't want to say, you know, Microcenter Ben, don't go there. I'm saying that if you don't live near one, it may not be in your best interest, because what you run into is essentially what I ran into is I basically had 3 outcomes. Wait a month or 2 and then contact Acer, which is possible because they said take it to Microcenter first month. Assuming they don't remember the fact that I already called in. Okay. Option 2. Drive to Microcenter. Nearest Microcenter. Here, let's do some math here. Nearest Microcenter from me. So we'll do export Microcenter near export. Okay, maps. I'll bring this up on my main screen in a second. Okay, yes. Yep, this is the one I go to. So, directions from export PA. So I'm going to do roughly from where I live. I don't want to show you guys exactly where I live, but I live over in export. It is 162 miles each way. Okay? So it's actually a little bit closer than I realized. I thought it was 200 something. 162 times 2. So it's 324 miles. I get conservatively 32 miles to the gallon. That's 10 gallons. Times, I have to use premium fuel. It's around $2.93. We'll say $3 a gallon. So I'm going to spend $30 to drive there and back and exchange it. Okay? That's also 6 hours. Now, to give you an idea, I earn a decent salary, but let's just say I earn $20 an hour. It's not that. That's 6 hours of my time, right? So, that'd be like that'd be $120, which is I think one of my time's worth. Now, let's actually bring it back a little bit. I'm going to be charged in 2015 or 2019 $50 an hour for work. That's $300 of lost time. Even if you back out taxes and the money I have to pay the government and everything, I'm losing money. And I don't think that, hey, bring it back. Like, even if they would have given me the option of potentially, I guess, is this a quest? No, okay, maybe. If they would have maybe given me the option of, I don't know, even paying to ship it back. I asked for shipping level because at this point I'm like, come on guys, like seriously. But it's just kind of annoying. And like I said, I like Microcenter. It's amazing to go to a Microcenter, but it just may not make sense. The only thing is you can get stuff day one, but man, you can waste a lot of time. Doing that, or going to a Microcenter if it doesn't work. And that's kind of annoying. Oh, I don't have this guy out. I kind of need this guy out, don't I? Yeah, so I do have a Warlock that's max level now, so if that wasn't apparent. Okay, I'm confused. What do I have? He didn't give me anything. So what am I supposed to do? Void Elf Head. Where in the heck do you get a Void Elf Head? I'm confused. It has to be PvP related. I'm confused. I really am. But, so that's kind of my rant for the time being. full disclosure. Okay, so it's definitely not from those guys. I don't have any... I'm really confused. I'm going to follow this guy. Oh, I found something that looks like a Void Elf head. Oh, did I get it? Did I get it? Yes. Sweet. Okay. So I found what the heck I'm supposed to be. Okay, that looks like quest. That's not related to me. So, anyway, yeah, that's kind of my rant. If I had one close, wouldn't be a big deal, right? The problem is their policy isn't vastly different than other stores. The problem is they have like 30 stores worldwide. And that in itself becomes the issue. So, you know, it just, you know, when you go to Best Buy, you know, I'm not sure if they even give you an option to return it to a Best Buy or not, or bestbuy.com. They said, well, if you were to order online, you can return online. Well, I think that Microcenter just in general needs to kind of have an understanding that there's a decent part of their customer base that travels distances to go, you know, I should probably, I don't know if I should do this or not. But yeah, there's a decent part of their customers that do travel quite far to, you know, to come see them and buy stuff from them. And I mean, I know some of them come just to buy processors, but I think with how popular the brand is and the name and all that stuff, that they just really should consider tweaking their policy. Have something, you know. And I hate to do what I did, but I was like, hey, like, just so you guys know, like, I'm in the process of reviewing this monitor, and it doesn't work. Like, I'm going to upload this, and I'm going to have to tell them, you know, this product that I bought from Microcenter unfortunately doesn't work. It's not their fault. But the experience of getting it fixed was quite shitty. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I say that to them, but that's kind of what I'm doing. Is sharing with you guys my experience. Usually Microcenter, I mean, the customer support and service is usually fine. There's no issues with that. You know, but it really stinks. As if this was an expensive part, I would have, you know, drove probably to my local Microcenter, which is like I should. Or here, I'm not sure if I even showed you guys. Did I? Let me see here. Yeah. So this is my local Microcenter. Like, it's not close. Is that the Mayfield Heights one? Should be. I'll tell you here in a second. I know it's really close to Cleveland. Yep, that's Mayfield Heights one. I've been there a couple times. I noticed it. Okay. What they need to do is they just need to build one where I live and call it a day. That'll make life easier. But yeah, anyway, so sorry to get all ranty with you guys. It's just kind of annoying. That's all. But I am back. I'm happy. We had a good time on our honeymoon. Okay, to answer your question, Max, I would wait until the 3000 series is confirmed by AMD what the actual specs are. And the reason why I'm going to say waiting for benchmarks is not important is this. As it stands right now, I don't know what the heck this is, that even if the next processors don't have anything more than a stat paper boost, core count, power, and speed, then it makes them, at the minimum, extremely competitive, very competitive with Intel, at the bare minimum. If they get the IPC increase that has been leaked, then it becomes an absolute no-brainer. So this is your two scenarios. Right now, the 9900K and 9700K, essentially, are the best gaming processors from a raw power standpoint. They are the best. I've reviewed it, And in my scenarios, yes, there's not a big difference, but that's because, realistically, you're not going to see a huge difference in most of your day-to-day gaming. Yes, it's faster, but you're going to be more GPU bottlenecked. And if you're doing 1080p gaming and you're getting a 1080 Ti or a 2080 Ti, and a 1080p or a 2080 Ti, 1080 Ti with a 9900K, you're doing it wrong, right? I have a 2700K in a Vega 64, and I'm running 1440p 144 hertz. Like, clearly, in most of what I do, so this is my system settings. Oh, I thought I had. Let me turn up a little bit. See if it makes a huge difference. It does. I usually run. No, I'll leave it where it's at. I usually run level 8 settings for the most part. And I'm running a solid, 80, 90 FPS. I'm not running 144, but it feels very smooth, right? So, most other games, though, it's not really an issue. I can get much higher frame rate at 1440p. I can. So, the consensus, going back to your actual initial question, and sorry I got a little bit off, oh wow, that killed him, a little bit off topic here, was, here's the thing. We need to know two things. We need to know what the specs of the 3000 series are and what the price is. That's the only thing that's important. Because right now, AMD is approximately 4 to 5% behind Intel in instructions per clock. So, we don't even need to know if there's an increase in IPCs. It'd be great if it does. But if we just find out that there is a speed and core count increase in the price, that's honestly all we need to know. Because then, at that point, it would be worth buying. Because, case in point, for example, basically the 2700X is going to be sold a little bit cheaper. And it's going to be, supposedly, it's going to be faster. It's going to be cheaper. And why would you save $50 when you are getting a chip that does have the raw power? You're basically, here, I'll look up the leaks here. So we'll look at Ryzen 730, 700X. So I think this is the chip. No, not what I wanted. Here we go. Here. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. Okay, right here. This chip right here. So, this chip is essentially what I have, except like 500 megahertz faster on the boost and 300 megahertz faster on the base. Okay, it's rumored that consume less power and $229. Okay, that's. Oh god. Oh god, what the hell happened here? Hang tight for a second, guys. I gotta figure out what I want to do here. Oh god, that's not good. Give me a second here. Okay. Apparently I didn't soul stop myself. Sorry. Back to what I was doing. So, I don't see... let me pull this back up here so I can see here. Give me a second. Show stack. There we go. Okay. So, let's move this down. There. Sorry, don't have the software I need for this right now. Okay. So here's what's rumored. Okay, and I've talked about this previously. This is the rumor mill, but we don't know if this is 100% or not. I don't. I would love to believe it. Some of these SKUs look realistic. Some of the SKUs don't. Okay, so when you look at the Ryzen 3 3300X, this is basically a Ryzen 5 2600X, except lower TDP. Could be possible. They refine the process, they can get it on a smaller node, generate less power, and because the nodes are having great yields, they can sell for cheaper. Okay, that's possible. And this is a Ryzen 5 2600, even lower watt TDP. Now, this one's a little more believable because it's only 15 watts lower. Okay. understood. This I'm interested about. These are essentially a better bin 2700 and 2700X. A little bit lower TDP and a little bit faster speed, and they're much cheaper. Okay, fine. That makes sense. Now we're starting to get into territory that is a little bit like unknown, right? So these are essentially faster Threadripper chips. I mean, if you look at logistically, 12 and 16 core chips, if you just increase the clock speed, that's essentially what they are. Lower TDP, right? So the thing is if these are true, without the faster IPC increase, I wouldn't even consider saving, unless the 2700X goes to like $150, which I don't think AMD would do. I think AMD will work on clearing out inventory with really low prices right now and get rid of all that to make room for these. I don't think they want to sell off 2700Xs for $150. They would have to, because literally, so here's right here. This is more powerful than a 2700X. It's a little bit slower on the base clock. It's a little bit faster on the boost clock. And it's $178, which is approximately about a little bit more than half of what the 2700X costs. And it's lower power. So that's kind of my thing, is that these, if is true, I would buy. So if AMD comes out and says, these are the chips, these are 100% confirmed, and these are the confirmed MSRP prices, I would wait. Not to buy a cheaper 2000 series chip, but because just as it stands, these chips are phenomenally priced. And they are going to give you a little bit more raw horsepower, especially if you do things more than just gaming. If the IPC is indeed increased by 15% on top of the clock speed increase, so their IPC should increase 15 to 20% just due to clock speed increase. If the architecture itself yields a 15% increase, then 100% buy this. Like 150% buy these chips. Again, I would have to see AMD, if these rumors are true, AMD would literally have to cut the pricing of their chips by almost half for me to even say, hey, you should go out and buy it. Because you're going to get higher clock speed chips that require no out-of-box tweaking. And XFR works quite well. It really does. I don't manually overclock for that reason. So hopefully, I think I've answered your question like 3 times saying the same thing. And I apologize because it's probably not what you wanted. But hopefully that is essentially the answer you're looking for, is unless you need something, wait. Or if you need something now, buy a 200 GE. I'm benchmarking one right now. Get an AM4, if you already have an AM4 board or whatever, and you have like a busted, or like your board shot or whatever, buy an AM4 board that's decent, get a 200 GE, sit on it until those come out. That being said, the 2-core 4-thread is a bottleneck, even with an RX 570. So that's, food for thought there. I'll put this on auto run here and fire up another game. Sorry, I'm doing some benchmarking right now, guys. Oh, by the way, I bought some Rosewolf fans, blue LEDs, $1.99 each. Not fantastic, but for the price. When I run the scenarios where I need to get a case fan to balance out airflow, not really a bad pick there. Oops. Yep, I overran my body here. Get logged in real quick. Come on. Oh, I'm running the place. Okay. That's fine too. Come on, you play. Nah, it has... Come on. Nah, it's restarting. I'll get back over here. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you have right now. If your system is working fine, you just want to get something better and upgrade, I would really wait. I would wait until, AMD comes out and they verify that they have, these chips and these are the speed and, okay, I misread what you wrote. Generally speaking, historically anyway, you could expect to get anywhere from 5, oh god, get the hell out of the way there. 5 to maybe 8 years out of a CPU. Now, where that has changed is Sandy Bridge. So, unfortunately, due to AMD not being competitive, Intel got to basically give us shit for year over year, making us pay premium for very little improvements because, well, you know, they could get away with it. They didn't need to spend a ton of money on R&D and all sorts of stuff because essentially AMD made it so they didn't have to worry about it. So the 8320. I'm first of all sorry. I'm gonna give you my condolences right now that you're on that chip. It's not bad from a standpoint of. I need to get the hell out of here. It's not bad from a standpoint of, like, you know, you've had it for a while, but man, I have an FX 8350 in the shop with about 35 bent pins. No, I didn't bend them. It was like that, and I just unfortunately was unable to fix it for the customer. But you know, man, it was just flawed in its design, unfortunately. You know, its instructions per clock, its ability to utilize a pipeline system effectively was just really not good, and you know, because of that, the chip just didn't perform well, and it's sad that you know, AMD, if they would have spent a little more time designing it, they could have actually probably designed a pretty solid chip. I mean, the single thread performance is definitely a letdown, don't get me wrong. Intel made really big strides going from first to second gen there. Is where they made, you know, the big differences. Where am I supposed to go here? I'm confused. Wild beer. Okay, I need to figure out where this guy's at. I'm quite confused. Sure. Oh, here he is. Oh. Found it. Yeah, I've used AMD chips almost exclusively the last year or two, since Ryzen's come out. But prior to that, it was pretty much Intel, 100% Intel. Okay. I get logged in over here. Should probably start attacking. Yeah, you know, and the problem is whenever it came out, it fell behind Intel Sandy Bridge by a decent amount, but unless you did some serious overclocking on Sandy Bridge, which you could do, because it had a soldered HIS, the differences weren't there. But Intel has steadily increased instructions per clock over the years. And while it's not, you know, a huge increase year over year, when you look at the fact that a Sandy Bridge chip on Cinebench single core would be like 120, 130, and now a 9900K at 5 gigahertz is 230, it's almost 100% faster, and it's almost 100 or it's almost 2 times faster. In the case of an FX chip, it's like almost 3 times more powerful. And when you did overclock it, it just didn't get the bump in single thread performance, and even the multi-thread performance wasn't stellar, right? So I really wish this FX or this board and CPU that I do have in the shop worked, because I'd really like to see kind of you know, how well it would do against, like, so I did a Phenom 2 X4 965 against a 200 GE. I'm not going to show or do a video of that because I can't actually remember the testing scenario, because the results to me don't look right. based off of how I feel I tested, would video card. And if I can't do that, then I don't want to make a video unless I can 100% say, this is the system I use, this is the test scenario, these are my results. So that's kind of my problem with all that. I'm confused. What am I supposed to do? Supply crates returned. What do the supply crates look like? Got a friend of mine. Yeah, and the problem with WoW is WoW just is not a really well-designed game. Has to do with the server calls on the API and the way the server handles everything. It does everything essentially, and it's gotten better with multi-threaded. But what I'll show you guys here is, so I'm running 1440p. I'm getting, well, it's down to 30 FPS because I'm tabbed out. But you can look at my CPU load, right? So, but let's go to Task Manager so you guys can see. WoW is not using most of my CPU. It's actually using less than Chrome and OBS. Now, I'm going to have to move the server here and tab back in here. So, you guys can't see because it's off screen, but WoW's using about a third of the CPU as OBS's. And that makes it not a very well optimized game. And the only way to actually get better WoW performance, it doesn't scale very well, is just increase the single thread performance. It's really the only thing you can do. It doesn't, like I said, scale really well, but it's not as bad as StarCraft 2 either. StarCraft 2 is like, if for every 1% single thread performance you increase, you get like 50 FPS, I swear. But if you looked, I have a video of a 9900K versus my Ryzen chip, and what you'll see is most games, despite the chip being probably 20 to 25% behind in performance due to clock speed and due to the IPC difference, you just don't see it in a real world scenario. And the reason behind that is because you're going to run into a GPU bottleneck, and we're going to continue to run a GPU bottleneck for the foreseeable future. And the point that I made was, I got my first 1440p monitor, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and the amount of people that use 1440p is like 4% of the Steam community. And I get it that Steam isn't everything, but that's the most accurate statistics you can get from gamers. The problem is that you have to remove some outliers. So laptop users. I don't think that's important because laptops are just so far behind technology of desktops. I came up here to kill him, and I feel like I didn't get what I needed. How many does he have? He has 2. There's a third one. I'll open this. Thank you. Sorry, I literally just leveled this warlock up while I was on my honeymoon, so can't really say that I'm great. My eye level was like 282, so it's pretty bad. Okay, so he has 3, I think, right? Yep, he has 3. I need 2 more. Oh, here we go. Here's 2. Sweet. Sweet. GPU's top out 65, CPU's top out 70. It's pretty par for the course. I almost bought a 360mm AIO, but I just decided against it. My chip just pulls a lot of power in general. Sweet. Okay, so I should be able... Yeah, I can go ahead and turn this in. Okay. Back over to Uplay. Apparently there's an update on Uplay. Or at least on For Honor. That stinks. Okay. Let's fly back. Oh God. My credit balance increase. Which one are they referring to? I have a Cryorig R1 Universal, and from my understanding, it basically will run with most 240 and 280 rads, and potentially run with some 360s as well. So, okay. Oh, well, yeah, I know. Yeah, mine is, it's a huge dual tower cooler, and, I don't know. I mean, the biggest problem is I have a Meshify C, which is a very, very small ATX case. It's basically a mid-sized micro ATX case, essentially. It's smaller than like NZXT S340, and I do have plenty of cooling, but I have a huge GPU in there, and, wait, I thought I was supposed to get... Did I not finish this quest? Okay, I did that. But... I'm confused. Okay, I will fly there and fly back. So one of the things I want to do, and it's not going to be easy or cheap, but I want to do custom water cooling on a budget. But the thing is I don't want to do budget water cooling. I want to do budget system. So I'll show you guys what I'm referring to here real quick. PCPartPicker.com. So okay, so I already have that. So motherboard. I'll come back to that. Video card, GTX 1060. I want definitely go with EVGA, 100%. And I need something with a reference board. So I don't want a mini. That could work. That's a mini. You know what? I'll just go with this cheap one because this should use a reference board. Now, the case is going to be a tough one. I think I'm probably going to go with something like this. Just enough modularity. I think easy to build in. Should be fine. Already has the 2 exhaust fans. They're high airflow. We'll use the front for that. So something like this would be fine. Power supply, nothing crazy. But I do want 80 plus gold, and I do want full or semi-modular. So let's see what we got here. I want more than that. G1 Plus is actually fine as long as it's not a G1. It seems to be cheaper here. Let me see if it's actually that cheap. So something like this will be fine. You know, 65, 70 bucks. Storage. What we're going to do is probably 1 terabyte SSD and just keep it like that. Nothing else. Just that. And here we go. So not a great one, but it'll work fine. Memory, we're going to go 3200, and we're going to go with 16 gigs. And that should be fine. So now we have a system, except for a motherboard. So let's go with a Z370 so we can overclock. It's actually funny. I would almost buy this if I knew a little bit more about it. In fact, I still might, because this might have enough power phases and everything. But let's go a little bit more expensive just to be safe. MSI has been using some really good VRMs, at least on Ryzen. But that's only at 4+2 or 5+1 max. So we need something a little bit better. So let's go with the PC Pro here. About $130 unit. Man, these are all like 5+1s. Killing me here, MSI. Killing me. See, I don't want to spend a ton of money on a board, but I want to overclock. So it's like, which one do you do? And I really want to avoid Gigabyte. I'm not happy with their service. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably a 5+2 or 6+1. You know what? Let's look at this board again. You know what? I'm going to chance it. I mean, I'm not actually going to buy it, but I'll still chance it. Where is... Oh, yeah, let's split this again so I can see. Stacked. I only want to stack 2. I don't want to... It always wants to try to stack 3. So, okay. Incompatible parts. What do we got? Okay, yeah. So, here we're about $860. And then... What is it? I can't remember the name. It does it. Not EKG. Oh, EK. Okay. So, I think this is the one I was looking at. Yeah. So this is what I would like to do. So, when you throw this into the mix, unfortunately not going to create. So what we'll do is, let's see if EK has any, if they're listed here. No, they're not. So I'm just going to like add this and change the pricing, essentially, to $239. So $1,100, and you get a fully water-cooled system. Now, the goal is to get this like the 5 gigahertz, to overclock this. Like this would be a whole overclocking system. But that's something I want to do this year. So that is the hope that I will be able to do that. Or next year, not this year, excuse me. Okay. I'm curious where this is going to take me here. Ah, I have to do more. Understood. Prisoners freed. Okay. Yeah, see, that's kind of the problem. Is Intel, since they are making the best out there overall, and you know the 8600K, 9600K, you know, a lot of high-end single-thread performance. Maybe not the best overall chip, but a lot of single-thread performance. They're getting away with charging a premium. Now, what it used to be was the FX series. You know, you gave up a lot to save money, and Intel basically said, we're not interested in competing on the low end. If you want to sell a 4, 6, and 8 core CPU for like $150 or less, go for it. It's not a good CPU. It's not going to get you, you know, good results. So, you know, have fun, right? And now it's like you're giving up some performance, but nothing real world, right? So I do real world gaming performance, you guys know. So I have, you know, a couple programs running. I'm going to standardize my testing in 2019. So when PC Budget Solutions becomes an official company, I will have standardized testing across the board. I'll be using 2 monitors, specific programs. I will have a YouTube video on loop. It will be the same video every time. Most likely the Halo theme song for like 10 hours or whatever. That's usually my preference. But that's what's going to separate PC Budget Solutions from like Lions Tech Tips and, you know, Bitwit and all those guys that do the theoretical testing. I just, look, I find that testing useful to a degree, but when Ryzen is 5% slower than Intel, clock for clock, no, not total, clock for clock, then I would go to say that the conversation is not relevant. Okay, Sandy Bridge versus Bulldozer, I completely understand the theoreticals, because 5 years later, we're definitely seeing, you know, a hit in performance. Intel versus AMD in 5 years is not going to be the same conversation. It's just not. You know, because most people, I don't overclock. Honestly, I prefer auto overclocking tools, personally. It's more stable, it's easier, at least for GPU. CPU, I mean, I've had a lot of overclock systems, they were fine, but still, XFR, especially for games like WoW, where, you know, you can get stable, like 4.3 on a boost clock, but not on an all-core overclock. No problem, Max. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it. Okay, nope, they're not there. Here we are. Okay. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because Intel's doing some interesting things as well. You know, they're talking about potentially like 3D stacking of processor nodes. So it's definitely going to be a good time to be an enthusiast pretty soon. I like AMD as a company better, and I'm going to be upfront with that because I feel that they're really, really, really interested in innovation and pushing the envelope and about their customers. And Intel is really, really, I mean, don't get me wrong, AMD is obviously profit driven. I mean, you know, you can't be in business and not have some, you know, drive for profit. But AMD just speaks to me as an enthusiast, whereas Intel just really doesn't anymore. You know, when they do make an enthusiast product, it's so ludicrously expensive. Same thing with the graphics card side, right? So AMD's always competed very well on price with their graphics cards, and that's even true today, right? So they may not compete on the real high end, and I wish they would if they're able to, right? I'd really like them to, but you know, they've competed on the mid range and on price. So that's kind of synopsis. I would like more competition. Back in the day, there used to be tons of competition. You had all sorts of companies. I remember having a Voodoo FX card way, way, way back. Okay, well that's doing that. I'm going to get... I forgot to hit continue with the update. Whoops. Pretty sure I just drank water. It's like a week and a half old. Okay. Now I can go turn this in. Where's Practically Ice at? Maybe it's not online. That works. Am I honored with anybody? Ooh, I am. Okay. I need to buy some stuff, but I really need to gear up badly. I think I'm high enough to do random dungeons, yeah. So I am honored with, oop, wrong button, currency, reputation. Okay, so that's up here. It's basically Nazmir. I forget which one it is, so I'll fly around. Hey, close that out. Got a lot going on tomorrow. Trying to play catch up with everything. Yeah, I'll be getting a 3000 series just because it's what I do. It stinks that these won't be ready, looking at this chart, but I saw something earlier today. Here we go. WCCF Tech. So, look, they've honestly been pretty accurate, but still, nonetheless. So these are laptop processors. Yeah. That makes no sense. Which chip is okay? 3200U, which is 2 cores, 4 threads. This is 4 cores, so that's why I did better. This should be 4 cores, 8 threads. Oh, that's it. Okay. That's interesting. That's a fair bit of stream processors. These would be nice for like light gaming, ultra portables. Really would be. Okay.
You are never going to find a better deal.
There we go. Yeah, I couldn't get my memory up to that speed. Nowhere near. 3200, this system wouldn't even take 32. 3000 is just the fastest I can get it to go to. Okay, let's find some gear. Okay, I can fly there next and some down south. Potentially go for that afterwards. Okay, let's see what we got down here. Maybe. Maybe. That's a big maybe. Okay, I haven't actually discovered everything over here yet, but still working on it. No. Man. People complain that you gear up too quickly, I guess. Ooh. Okay, so we definitely need to go out there. Definitely good stuff there, so. Ooh, okay. So we definitely need to go to Strong Valley or whatever. Actually, I have my ship set to here, which I'm going to change that here in a minute. Okay. Where? There we go. Okay. Do some 4 honor benchmarking. Here, I'll do a quick live, really exciting. Probably can't even see me from over here unboxing. So, Sometimes I just buy stuff to have for later. Oh. Let's take a look at this. Got OBS, full screen. Okay, I can see myself. So I picked up a bunch of these. I think they were $1.99 each. They're blue LEDs, interestingly enough. They don't say anything interesting on the back. Here, we'll read it together. They're 120 millimeter by 25s. 3 and 4 pin Molex, blue mounting screws. A fair bit of CFM. Only 23.2 dBA, so that's not bad. But anyway, so this is the fan. Honestly, a bit heavier than what I've seen in the past from Roosevelt. So I'm definitely happy to see that. It doesn't feel cheap, per se. You know, I understand why they do this, but okay. Actually, I'm not even going to give them, I'm not even knock points off. I mean, can you give points off for a $2 fan? I don't think so. Normally, like $10. This fan, I would just connect them all in the Molex. 1200 RPMs, not very fast. It shouldn't be very loud, right? So I would just connect these into that. And I really like that what they did is they used like a hard black plastic frame, and then the fan itself has like a blue LED to it. So I don't have anything to plug this into. So I don't have any Molex in my system, unfortunately. So let me see. No, I don't think I can. I'm thinking about this over here. So I'm going to do something that I'm going to recommend you never to do, and that's plug something in to the motherboard while the system is on. And also unplugging something from the motherboard while the system is on. So never do this. You may get hurt if you're not careful. So this is what it looks like. Pretty neat. Nice look to it, not over the top. Yeah, it's not spinning at high speed. Granted, it's not turned all the way up, but it's... Oh, here we go. Here's what I can do. Sorry. So, I'm going to plug this fan back in. I have a Molex connector down here, actually. And the reason I want to do this is because this will get it to run at full speed, essentially. Again, never do this because there is a chance you can hurt yourself. So, quiet, and it's definitely moving air. I can feel it. When I look at the blades, they're not super open, you know, like this, but they're not super closed at the same time. So I wouldn't use these for radiators, but if you need like cheap fans and you don't have a lot of obstruction, like I'm going to use these in builds in the future. Like I'm going to be honest, I will. But it's fine. It has LEDs. It looks cool. It's functional, and it was cheap. So definitely good buy there. I think I probably should have bought more, to be 100% honest. So for less than $10, good buy. $2, stupid not to. Now, that is under the impression you want spare fans. If you're spending more than a couple hundred, like say north of $600 for a rig, I would probably spend a little bit more money and get specific fans. Usually something with a fair bit of static pressure, right? One of the problems I have with my, I have a Corsair H100i over here, okay? And it ran 15 degrees warmer than my dual tower cooler. I don't know why. It could be a pump issue. It could be a case orientation issue, or it could be a fan issue. The fans, which conveniently enough, the Fractal Design Celsius series use the same fans I have, only have like 0.71 millimeters per H2O. Whereas like these Kohler Master fans that I hate that I have over there are like 3.9. It's like, it has 6 times the pressure. So I'm going to be redoing that test results pretty soon. But I'm happy with those. Those were fantastic buy. Maybe I'll put a link in the description for those. Okay, high settings, display. Now we do not want 4K. We will not get good results at 4K. This is a 4K monitor over here I'm still selling, so cancel. It likes to do this on GTA and one other game. Okay. No. It keeps telling me, do you want to fix the blurriness? Apply. Okay. Sure. There you go. It'll go away now. Well, I have to put the side panel back on because that'll mess with my test results potentially. I mean, it shouldn't. The CPU and GPU, I think, are both under 70. And I don't think neither one throttles till like a bit warmer. I want to say probably 85 and 90. I have a RX 570 in here for testing. I don't. So, do you got? Yeah. I generally try to always do DirectX 12. So, I am not a fan of testing $60 CPU and an $800 GPU. It doesn't make sense to me because I get it, you want to reduce the bottlenecks and everything, but when it's evident that the raw performance between the two in a perfect scenario isn't huge, I think people are going to be more interested in how it actually performs in the real world. You could have gotten a 1600 for that price pretty recently. I actually just did a 1600 build recently. Hope this gets me something by killing him. Interesting. Yeah, I shouldn't have seen her fail. That pretty much did nothing. Oh, here we go. Kill him. Wait, why are we killing this guy? I feel like he doesn't give us anything. That's fine. As long as I'm not taking any flag for it. Yeah, I kind of figured. Why are we killing him? Yeah, I just wasted that. Fail. So, Gamers Nexus did a video recently, I guess with Buildzoid or whatever, and I have the X470 Pro. It's okay. I don't really like it. My wife has the MSI Tomahawk, and I'm kind of jealous. But I'm probably going to hang on to this until I sell it. MSI seems to have the best VRMs on Ryzen right now, so I would actually consider going with them. Just food for thought. I don't like, you can't control the RGB, which really kind of sucks. Oh, that's why I'm dying. Fail. MSI, 1070. Okay, I was like, 170? What are you talking about? Got it. Oh, Drain Life is really expensive to use. That explains it. Does this do anything when I pick these up? Okay, so it's not a complete waste. Why do I do that? Drain Life. Try to get this last benchmark in. Oh, I decided to keep ASus Singularity. I didn't realize I did. I don't know if I'll do that one or not. I'm not really sold necessarily. The problem with ASus Singularity is it is straight up a benchmark, and I don't know. I just don't think it gives really good consistent results. If it allows you to. If not, I mean, you're definitely welcome to, as long as you're not going to link anything malicious. I don't have a problem with that. You may have to like link it like separate or remove or like dot com or whatever. But yeah, that's fine. I might have a restriction for that though, which probably should turn off, but. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I just came back from my honeymoon, so me and my wife have been married actually for over a year. It's just we just didn't have the means of doing it until we got some things in order. So now that we have things in order, we had means of doing it. I feel like there was something over here I was going to get to. Waist, yeah. And ring. Okay, so I have two things down here I can get. That's actually near a flight path too, so. Fine. Okay. That benchmark is done. I got one more to do. Desktop, yes. Ghost Recon's Wildlands update too. Fail. Okay. I'm still in combat. That's annoying. Ugh. I actually have to get the heck out of here. How am I in combat again? Okay, Control Alt Delete, or Alt F4 rather, and going back in. Nothing interesting on see, let's take a look at my comments here. Yeah, this guy's been pushing about overclocking, so that's why I'm going to go ahead and do a video there. It's actually, I want to talk about how weird YouTube is. So, if you're on YouTube, so, this video, no understanding. I want to do an unboxing of Motherboard. They're not usually super popular. I might get to like 2,000 views in a year. But I did a Motherboard in a surprise. It was the G200G. And not only is the like-dislike ratio good for me, because like 2 or 3 dislikes can like really set things off for me. 2,300 views, and I uploaded this like a month and like a week ago. So let's view my channel here. And videos. Okay. So let's talk. Now, the problem with doing YouTube is you have to do a really difficult balance of this is an unlisted video because the product I'm selling, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be putting unlisted videos up in ads, so you guys don't see them, but they do exist, so people can come and watch them. The problem is that some of the videos I do are popular. Some of them I know they're going to be popular. Some of them I have to push to be popular. A really good example is... I'll find it here. No. Was it after? This one. So that one I had to invest money for advertising because that was something that I really wanted to put out there. A video that's not popular is this one, and that's kind of disappointing. I may put like $10 ad to promote it. Videos that are popular that I expected to be popular was this one, and that one. This one didn't surprise me. It's not a very popular caller. But what was weird was these 3 videos did not see a lot of views for some time. This video, I want to be a lot more popular. I may put money in advertising for that. This video was a horrible video. I don't even remember what it's about, but I honestly don't think it deserves 758 views. It did. This one I'd rename 3 times to get some decent reviews. This one I have no idea why that one's popular. I have no idea why that one's popular. I don't know why that's popular. Who the hell wants to see a processor unboxing? This one I had to put on my front page for a while. This. Explain to me why this one in 2 months has 2,500 views and this one has 183. I don't know. Aw, look at the puppy. Like, why is that one popular? But this one, why is this popular? That I don't know. This, well, that was unboxing, overview. So these were popular, and I don't know why. Hey guys, Steve here. Interesting. I want to... That's pain. So we're going to get you some zoom action here. I forgot that I did that. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I used a really cheap motherboard. What did I build in here? My hands are not that small. That was... Azra... Oh, I forgot the IO shield in it too. But yeah, YouTube's weird. It really is. Anyway. Let's get logged back in. How is this having trouble allocating disk space? Should be plenty. It's weird it's saying forever. Actually, you know what we should do? Exit. Oh. Download. Is PC building a side business for me? It will be. It has been. It's tough. So here's the thing. I usually charge anywhere from $80 to $120 depending on the cost of the build, and that's my profit. In the grand scheme of things, it makes it very difficult to compete because people are selling 4th and 6th gen systems with modern graphics cards that are used for 40% off retail price. And when somebody's selling a 6700K, or no, we'll do this one. When somebody's selling a 4790K and a 970 with an SSD, they have pirated Windows or eBay Windows, and they're selling it for $650, and I'm selling an 8 Gen i3 with an RX 580 with 16 gigs of RAM and SSD and everything with Windows for $900. I'm essentially, in this one, I'm making I think I have it marked up $155, $160. And that's because people are going to try to bring me down to $100, try to get $50 off. It makes it very hard to compete. There are people who are going to see the value in what I do because this is where PC building gets a little tricky. If you don't have capital, if you don't have a 9-to-5 job, if you don't have room in your budget, you have to be careful because this is what happens. And this happened 4 times in 1 month. So I built almost 700 computers, and I had 4 fail in 1 month's time. Not like most of them are 2-3 years old. Now, generally speaking, you have to be able to accommodate them. So you have to be able to fix it, and you're not going to. In many cases, you won't be able to charge them. These people, I did charge them because I had to come to their location, and I do charge for that. If they bring it to me, I will fix it for just cost if it's after a year. If it's less than a year old, I have to do one of 2 things. I have to first diagnose the problem. So that's obviously the key thing. So we have to set up a time and a place to get the computer to me. Then I have to diagnose the problem. After I diagnose the problem, I got to figure out a way how I'm going to fix it. So if it's as simple as graphics card die, okay, great. I need to give them a graphics card. Here's the question now. Is, okay, I give them a graphics card. How long is it going to take to get a graphics card replaced? Well, I got news for you. It takes 3 weeks, normally. A little bit faster if you have EVGA or if you pay for cross-shipping, okay? So that's where it gets tricky. So that's why it's really important to have a bunch of mid-range graphics cards, for example, where you can easily just throw one in there and say, okay, go ahead and take it home. We'll get the replacement in here in 3 weeks. Perfect. That's acceptable. As long as they can leave within a couple days with a working system. And then they just have to understand that this is temporary and the replacement one is going to come in due time. Now, in many cases, that's not possible. You know, if you just do it for a side hobby, it may not be possible to do that. This is where it gets tricky. Then I will go ahead and go on Amazon and get a replacement graphics card here in 2 days. And I have to pay for that. I'm not going to ask customer to pay for that. I have to pay for that. And that can cost $200-300 on a system that I made $100 on. Well, this is what I do. I still send out an RMA, the old one, because it's usually warranted for 3 years. And I will go ahead and... oh, cool. I will go ahead and RMA, and I will either sell it, or if it's something I can put back in inventory and use, I'll put it in inventory. So as a business, that makes sense to put it back in inventory. So, you know, I do a couple things. So I don't get money from YouTube right now. I used to. I don't because I don't have 1,000 subs. Once I hit 1,000 subs, I'll be able to. And that is coming. I'm getting a lot of people subscribing every day, which is really cool. So once I do that, you know, that'll definitely be big because I do get, you know, I'll make probably at that point I might be able, between that and Amazon, make a few $1,000s per year. So that's the hope. I mean, I just want to be able to make enough money to keep doing what I love doing. I would love, you know, to make more, but you know, if I can continue to generate enough revenue from, you know, doing consulting work and, you know, hourly charge that I do and everything like that, that would just be cool enough. Come on. Hi, Nikki. You know what's funny is I have no idea who Nikki is. Let me rephrase that. I only know her because she's a subscriber and comments a lot and supports the channel. I don't really know Nikki. That's kind of interesting. But do I really need to know Nikki? I just know that, you know, she supports the channel and she comments and likes and subscribed and, you know, has been there for me for a long time. So, but yeah, I mean, I hope that I can grow what I do, you know, keep it break fix for as long as I possibly can. And then, you know, eventually move into potentially managed services if I absolutely have to. Oh, there he is. I've actually made a little money off Amazon recently. I've had a couple people. I've actually made, I want to say, maybe $100 this month off Amazon. So, but yeah, I mean, the other thing is obviously I charge per hour, so I'm gonna be up my rates of $50 an hour. Now that's you know, if I have to go on site for something, I'm definitely charging it. And I can also write off mileage too. Where's my phone at? Wife's hungry. So yeah, it's a combination of everything. You make a few grand a year and lower your taxable income and all that stuff. Because, you know, now I have to start charging sales tax, and so here's actually a big problem with PC building. So I am working on a general liability policy because it's needed. Technically, you're supposed to be, you know, charging sales tax and all that stuff. And I pay sales tax when I buy stuff. But you're actually supposed to be tax exempt and then charge sales tax when you sell it, right? So I'm getting to the point where, my apologies. That makes a little more sense. Just the way it was spelled made me think otherwise. My demographic is like 97% male. So here's the thing. You really should find something you're passionate in. So that's the first thing. If you're passionate about PC building, what you really should do is build a couple for friends and family. Maybe charge just enough to cover, you know, any like maybe like 5% over cost, just in case, you know, because you have to account for taxes and shipping and all that stuff, right? Because it's not free shipping all the time. But if you're really into PC building, just be careful because, You know, technically you should carry liability insurance. You should be, if you're making money, you should be paying taxes, sales tax, and if you pay yourself, you have to pay taxes on that. Don't get me wrong, I'm just now starting to do it, but, you know, because there are things called hobbies by the federal government, but you still pay taxes on those. They just don't let you deduct as much. It's kind of bullcrap. So, it's tricky. It's not super profitable though. I just enjoy doing what I do. I'm good at what I do. I haven't done any super specialty PCs, but I know it's not knowing how to build it. That's easy. I mean, you can watch any of my videos and learn how to build a computer, Linus's or Jay's or Bitwit's or Paul's or whatever, right? Steve. I think Steve from Gamers Nexus does them too. It's the whole consultation saying, you know, somebody who doesn't know much about computers says, I want a computer that does X, Y, Z. And there's not a lot of people out there that have done enough testing and building and messing with parts and seeing benchmarks and everything to say, I can do what you want, and this is the cheapest I can do it. And if somebody says, well, I can't afford that, then I go and say, well, there's a couple other options. I sometimes do some used and refurb builds. There are a lot of people selling their computers on Craigslist at a deep discount because they built it a year ago and they're selling it and they're just trying to get rid of it. That being said, you know, they're not going to warranty it, you know, so if something does fail, they're not going to want to fix it. And I don't blame them. I wouldn't either. If this wasn't what I did, you know, just like when you sell a car as is, you're not going to warranty it after you sell it, right? But you can get some great deals. But I do consultation for people that never pay me. And most of the time it's not very fruitful. But sometimes it is. People will say, hey, I appreciate all the work. You helped me get the piece I needed. I have a friend who has some money that's looking to buy a computer. This is their information. Reach out to them. And that has happened several times for me, actually. So that's pretty cool. But if you're in it for the money, if you start up any business for the money, you're going to be in trouble because money runs out. Industries change. Example, tablets. Tablets were huge when I used to sell them at Verizon. But nobody really uses tablets anymore. The laptop replacement's gone because laptops become better and cheaper. You can get a gaming laptop with a 1050 Ti and a 6-core 12-thread i7 and 8 gigs RAM and SSD for $900. It's a desktop class 1050 Ti, and that's cheaper than the iPad Pro. And you know, the thing is you have to be, so I'm getting my master's degree in information systems. I'm actually most of the way done. You have to be agile. And if you're just in it for the money and you're not passionate on what you do, when things change, you won't be able to continue. You won't be able to adapt. And I think that's really important to know that your business has to be your passion. It also has to be in an industry that isn't dead. And PC building by no means is an industry that I would classify as dead. You know, it's thriving to a degree, but yeah, let's turn that off. But just, you know, keep in mind that, you know, if the PC building industry collapses and nobody builds PCs anymore, that'll hurt me pretty bad. I would stop doing it. But in 5 years from now, I'm going to be out of that primarily. I'll be, so this is kind of my tentative goal. I'm with a great company. I love them. I actually plan on turning my business into something more than what's called break fix. So break fix involves PC building, and then the other part of it is when things break, you fix them. So if a customer has a server that's down or a network that's down or whatever have you, if something breaks, they call you, you come and fix it. Essentially how that works. Then there's something called managed services. So we deal a lot with managed services in my work. How managed services work is, you know, you have a monthly charge that you charge your customer, and you supply everything from their email to their firewall to their workstations, everything. And sometimes you charge them a one-time, like you would, sometimes you make money on the hardware, sometimes you don't. It varies. Sometimes you sell it at cost. Sometimes you might make 10%. So, but that is where the break-fix industry has pretty much transitioned into, because that is essentially where the money's at. The best way of putting it. And they saw the break-fix industry basically dying. And it still isn't doing great. It kind of went down, and it's made a little bit of a recovery, but it's not doing fantastic by any stretch. So that I deal with those companies on a daily basis. I work in the SaaS industry, software as a service, and you know, they're a pivotal part of our business. But what I was getting at was, I plan on being with my company, Horn Security, for a long time. But I also plan on making my business into something very fruitful. So there's definitely going to be changes at some point. And because my company is very agile and everything, there definitely should be ways for me to pursue a couple years down the road, making my business into something long-term sustainable with employees and everything, and also still continue to work with my current employer. So I just have to be careful because conflict of interest and all that fun jazz. And by the way, when people say, oh, you can buy anything you want and just write it off. Yeah, write-offs doesn't mean it's free. It just means you reduce your tax consequence by a percentage of that amount. So if you're paying essentially 30%, 12%, and then 17% self-employment tax, essentially what that boils down to is if you buy something for like 10 grand, you basically save 3 grand in taxes. So it's still useful, don't get me wrong, but so Demetrius, I would just be just a little bit. I would start building for friends and family without charging more than just parts. And usually when it's friends and family, I generally charge very little. A lot of my friends and family want to pay me, and I let them. That's another thing is like I've done a lot of work for free, but it's never been friends and family. They've always been the people that have actually paid. It's funny because it's almost never like that, right? Usually friends and family try to take advantage of you. However, for some reason or another, my family, and I mean extended family, like my immediate family, never. I mean, like, when I've built computer for my uncle, for example, you know, he moved me for free. And I've moved people before, you know, friends and family, you know, to help them, right? Because moving's not fun. I had to move my wife before, as you know, from her Graham's house to her parents' house before we moved in together. We weren't married at the time. And my uncle didn't charge me. Now, mind you, it wasn't a full move. Like, everything was boxed up, ready to go. It was 2 locations, pick up, drop off. Okay? So it was easy, very easy by their standards. But for me, that's a lot of work. I've moved here before. It's not easy. And he didn't charge me. Very grateful for that, too, nonetheless. I tried to pay him. I tried to pay his guys like $50 each, and he was like, sorry, we can only take pizza. I mean, I bought him pizza that was already there. But they were like super grateful for that. And my uncle pays his people pretty well. Like his people have houses, are married, have kids. Like, he's not paying his guys $12 an hour. Like he has massive trucks that require, I believe, a CDL license. So, you know, he's, you know, paying his people. I think he even provides healthcare or something like that. But anyway, so I paid him, he wouldn't let me pay his guys, but I built him a computer. And it was like 6th Gen i7, 16 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. And the reason why is because like he's like, I want the best. I don't want you to skimp anywhere. It's how he is. And he ended up paying me like $150. And I really, really tried not to take it. And he almost got like... He got really argumentative, like, you're going to take it, and if not, we're going to have a problem. And I'm like, well, fine, I'll take it then. But it's like those people, like, they value IT. Like, sure, I came over and diagnosed a printer problem for him one day. No problem. I don't mind. I was off, and no harm, no foul. But it's funny that that my good, consistent, close customers, friends, a lot of them are close friends and family, have always paid me. It's the regular customers that never want to pay. But, man, am I getting ranty today. Somebody else just got home. Oh, that's a pretty big update. So, yeah, but PC Budget Solutions is going to be a thing in 2019. Got a couple grand to start it, so... Oh, man, I was really hoping for an upgrade. Screw it. I'm done doing those. I'm going to go ahead and sail over and get some other stuff. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at... Oh, wow, it's an 18 gig update. Jesus. Ryzen Tomb Raider.
Among your time, Warlock, the Council of the Black Harvest requests your assistance.
81.62. That doesn't... Does that sound right? For For Honor? Yeah. 81.62. Slightly behind the other... Yeah, I'm definitely going to remove Ashes as a singularity. It's just not a benchmark I want to include. Delete. Yeah. So I'm going to give a little bit of advice that I talked to my brother about this before, and he's right. We're not the ones that thought about it, but if you always chase money, you'll never be happy. Look at what me and my wife used to make whenever we got married or moved in together and what we make now. It's more. And unfortunately, we don't experience it because we're fixing some mistakes we make. We're adults and we make mistakes, right? Oh, wait. I don't know where I'm going here. So what I'm getting at is that you have to be able to live, pay your bills, afford to go out every now and then, be able to save up and buy that computer, or you want to buy that Mustang or whatever. I mean, Mustangs aren't super expensive. I used to have one. It's paying out the same as my GTI, but regardless. But it's so important that, so I work roughly 40 to 45 hours a week. I worked while I was away. Not because my work asked me to, but because stuff needed to be done. And unfortunately, working at essentially a startup in the United States, my colleague, good guy, very good at what he does, is not technically sound like I am. I'm not saying he's not tech savvy at all, but he is definitely big on sales. There's a lot of sales experience. And I work at inside technical sales as well. We have the same role and position. I also do tier 1 support. I also do what's called pre-sales, essentially customer success. I do a lot of different roles. It's this he does like partner manager, and he helps me with being a liaison for tech. But the problem is that while he's much better than me at sales and the sales process, cold calling, all that stuff, for the most part, unless we talk to technical people, then I seem to do better. That without me there, it makes it very difficult on the company on the U.S. side. So we have like 150, 200 employees worldwide. Technically, the ship can still sail with me there because I do sales. That's part of my job. It's not what I only do, but it is part of my job. I'm not as good at it, but the ship can still run, albeit not at full steam. Without me there, having some sort of active role, it makes it very difficult because if anything technical pops up, we have to rely on our 24/7 team. And that's fine. But if it's like a technical question, not like an issue, that pre-sales would answer. Well, they're not there, after like 1 o'clock hard time? That's usually questions that I field and answer. So, you know, it makes it difficult. So that's why I go ahead and wait, what did I do? That's why, even though I'm on my honeymoon and I'm away and I'm technically not back for another day or so, you know, I'm still working because, you know, if not, then, you know, the company literally is not going to continue with some of the things, and they'll have to postpone some things until I get back. At the same time, I work some half days. I work partial days. I go home early. I start later. You know, so definitely a lot of pluses and minuses. But anyway, so I really like the company. You know, they've been very accommodating for me, my family, things I've run into. They've, you know, I've been to Europe twice, Germany twice, Barcelona once. And it is because of them I've had the opportunity. They pay me very well for what I do. Obviously, I'd love to always make more, but I don't think they're unfair with compensation. But I wouldn't give up what I have for... So, here, I'll be real. The amount of experience I'm gaining, along with my master's degree, after 2 or 3 years with my company, Hornet Security, could probably open me up to make into the 6 figures, just me and myself. But what's that going to do, right? So I'm going to be essentially leaving a company that I love, that I have the opportunity to challenge my boss. Not say he's wrong, but introduce ideas and give my thought and opinion in a constructive way that he yields is very valuable. A company that I've made a lot of close friends with, a company that has been nothing but accommodating and understanding with everything that's gone on in my life, that has appreciated the sacrifices that I've made to make sure that things are working well on our end, right? So some of the sacrifices I made, for example, nothing major, but after I came back from my last trip to Germany for some technical training, I was to take 2 days off. 1 day for jet lag, 1 day because my mom was having surgery. The day my mom had surgery, I took my laptop and I actually worked a little bit. Honestly, I was bored. My mom was in there for 8 hours, and it wasn't for necessarily a good reason, and she's doing okay, but I was bored. And I answered a lot of questions and fielded some technical things and got some things solved while I was at the hospital. I was bored. I had nothing else to do. I my work laptop. They by no means asked me to do that. But I did it because, well, why not? You know? And they've been really appreciative of the sacrifices we've all made, me and my colleague Giuseppe. You know, I've never had any issues with asking for something. Like if I need to leave early or if I need to work from home because, you know, I want to get my hair cut or go to the doctors, it's not really a big deal. So, you know, getting tens of thousands of dollars more a year, me and my wife, we're doing fine. We have good plans. We have retirements established, everything like that. It's just not in the cards for me. It really isn't. You know, and I've gained so much valuable experience. So before I did this, I only knew hardware. Now I know email protocol. I know ticketing systems. I know Active Directory. I know how to, you know, add users. I've been really good at critical thinking and problem solving. I can't tell you how many issues I've solved that was way outside my realm of expertise. And it's just because I built upon previous experiences and just, you know, combination of using Google and knowledge that I have and just putting two together and, you know, all sorts of things. And, you know, and I've also gained cold calling BDR experience and B2B inside sales experience and account manager experience. And just when you add all that up, it's like, you know, Hornet Security has given me so much. You know, they're been a sole part of me finishing my degree that I started at Ryzen. You know, so just Really good company. Working for a socialized company out of Germany has been a very, very good idea on mine. Very good idea. So, make sure you're not poor. Make sure you're happy. But if you're going to be working for, 40 hours a week, let's just say you work 40 hours a week. There's 168 hours in a week. You're basically working for a quarter of your life minimum. Why not enjoy what you do? Enjoy the company, enjoy the people. I think that's more important. My brother loves what he does, most days. There's a couple things I would like to change. He works in the car industry. He actually is a purchaser. But unfortunately, with the way the industry is set up for what he does, the industry has to be very accommodating to its customers with timing and time frames and all that stuff. So it makes it hard to kind of fix some of the problems or issues my brother has with his job, but he likes it a lot and they treat him well and he likes what he does. And he made a lot more money being a service advisor, but he was going to die probably 10 years earlier of stress if he kept doing it. One advantage about Demonology Warlock, I can go AFK. Why can't I do that yet? There we go. And not have to worry about, well, actually it's almost dead, but okay. So I don't know if this is done or not. I'm going to exit and rejoin here. Yes, Uplay is installed on this computer. Hush. I do not like Uplay. I played Uplay. We'll play for Uplay. Sorry. That's funny. So the guy that just logged on my screen there, I'll actually address that question in a minute. Good friend of mine. He's stressed a lot, and he works for a company I used to, which is Ryzen, and I left because they made a lot of changes that was making it stressful for me. That was a job that I liked because I was good at it and I made money. So full disclosure, I made over 70 grand at Verizon a year. I know people made more, but they weren't very transparent and honest. I tried to keep a high level of integrity while also making a lot of money. But I was looking to see 45, 50 grand in 2018 if I stayed. And I only liked that job because I made a lot of money. It became very stressful. But anyway, so let me see. I saw a comment here. Hi, Nikki. I appreciate it. Thanks for the clarification now. I feel bad because I used to tell my wife, like, hey, I have a female subscriber. But to Demetrius, you have a job I completely hate, which just drains my energy. Yes, that is a problem. So what I tell people is, don't quit your job. That's not a good idea. You have bills to pay, and hating your job is not a reason to basically. Yeah, I know exactly what kind of job you have. My wife, she works in. Oh, whoops! Let me. Okay, driving back. My wife does call center work for a bank, and it's definitely a love-hate for her. It's tough. It pays well though with really good benefits. So, definitely good for her on that. But, and I told her, I said, look, do it for a year or so. If you don't like it, then you can start looking around. Don't just get up and quit. Start looking around. She's looking to transition into maybe chat support just a little bit easier. She's definitely a techie. She plays video games and all that stuff, but the whole being on the phone's a little bit tough for her all the time. She's very friendly though. But anyway, so you have to pay your bills. It's just, look, it stinks to say, but, you know, if you're just supporting yourself, it might be a little bit easier. But if you have other people that depend on you, you can't just literally up and leave. That's what happened with me with Ryzen. So I looked for 6 months. I didn't realize that software sales is not just a publicly advertised position. You have to look at software companies and essentially apply direct. That's how they all work. That's how IT in general works. They don't. IT companies are weird, especially like MSPs. They refuse to take help. They always want to solve their own problems. That's why, for example, we have, I don't know, several thousand points of contact for IT companies, and probably a few hundred in the Pittsburgh, greater Pittsburgh area, which is essentially my area that I live at. Yet, none of them advertised for positions. But they have them, but they don't advertise. They want people to come to them. They want to solve their own problems. They by no means want somebody else to help them solve. We run into that all the time, unfortunately. They're like, don't call us, we'll call you. Well, it kind of sucks, but that's how they say. You know, keep the job you have and figure out, you know, what you would like to do. And I would actually... So, what I would probably recommend you to do, Demetrius, is try to find what's called a managed service provider. One that's more than like a 2 or 3 man operation. One that's like 20 or 30. And get into tier 1 tech support there. The reason why is you should make 30 to 40 grand at least. And you'll get a lot of relevant experience. You may not stick there for more than a year or two. You might even start to get burned out. But that'll be able to get you upgraded to a tier 2 NOC or a system engineer that pays like 50 grand plus. See, that's the thing, is at this point, I could basically go and become a systems engineer or system admin or something like that and make like 60 grand plus. And that would be at best a side grade, but I'm not really trying to do that. So that's kind of how I would approach that. So hopefully you find that useful. So get Ghost Recon's Wildlands set up. Graphics high. I'm glad you asked, because I didn't realize what these were either. Give me 1 second here. So I'll show you here in a minute here. It's not easy because not every managed service provider essentially, oh yeah, I hear you. Not every managed service provider or person or company that claims they are really is. So a lot of companies say they do managed services, but you know, how much they really do. So there's a couple ways you can do it. Generally speaking, most managed service providers are partners with Microsoft. The reason why is because they're doing you know, for managed services, you're going to be doing their email, their workstation. You're going to get Windows licenses from them for upgrades and all that stuff. So here, I'll show you one of the tricks that I use. So Microsoft resellers, reseller locator. So I did this one on prospecting, but this could be useful for you as well. So you can search. So say you're from Cincinnati. Okay. Now, what this is doing is you're looking for somebody that resells Microsoft services. Their target audience is 10 to 50. And that's honestly where most managed service providers are. They focus on SMBs like 10 to 100. And then I usually type in Office 365 and products, because that is the email service and everything like that. That's obviously, we want that. And then do like 100-mile radius and search for ones that are actually in your city. And you can bring them up, for example. So Infotech. So I'll click on them. They're big. May not want to go to them. They're 200 or one. This maybe they're a little bit smaller. Com Resource, I think, yeah, they're bigger. So what you'll want to do is look for something that's like 10 to 50. This one, perfect, would be an example. So we'll take a look at their website. We'll see what they do. They do cybersecurity consulting and solutions, managed IT services. Essentially what you're looking for. So they're going to do 24/7, 365, full support. They don't really go too into detail what they do. They just say managed services. So that's kind of the one thing that kind of sucks is there's things called like VCIO or VCTO, Virtual Chief Information Officer. I don't want to say it's a sham, but it's kind of it's overused, and a lot of companies don't understand what it is. They're basically saying that their services can replace a CIO or CTO of a small company. And honestly, they probably can. But yeah, so that's kind of what you're looking for. The problem is if you type in managed service provider Cincinnati, you're not going to get a lot. And you're going to get a lot of like one or two. So TeamLogic IT is actually pretty big. Nexagen's pretty big. So these are companies I know because I've attempted to work with them or are working with them. So you have to like find a couple products that are really big in the industry, such as Office 365 is huge. And from there, you can search to see who resells that service. You know, try to critique things. Look on LinkedIn, for example. If you're not on LinkedIn, you really should be. That's right, I gotta sign in. I'll do that later. But you can search on LinkedIn, update your profile, put that you're looking. Here's the cool thing. This is actually something that sucks, but it's true. Recruiters on LinkedIn do not like to look at people that are currently unemployed. They only love looking at people who are currently employed. And a lot of times they're not even, they even have their profile set as not looking. But if you set your profile as looking for work, and then or open opportunities, I think is what it is. And update your LinkedIn profile, put relevant information, talk about what you're doing, put in some of the marketable skills you have. You'll get some people coming after you. And then same thing, look at other things. So you want to look on the AV side. So a lot of people are on Bitdefender. MSP jobs, Reddit. Reddit is huge. I work on Reddit all the time with my work. So there's an MSP Reddit. There's an MSP jobs Reddit. Now the MSP Reddit's a bit bigger. But what you can do is, go to this, and they're usually pretty good. Even towards me, they've been pretty nice for the most part. So here, 24/2. Make a post and say, hey, these are my skills. I want to kind of look for work for an MSP in this area. And usually MSPs all are real close to each other, which kind of sucks because if a vendor pisses off one, they tell everybody. But say, hey, are there any MSPs in this area hiring? These are my skill sets. What do you recommend? And you can definitely I've gotten some good leads from here where some heads of some MSPs have said, "Hey, we're looking for something email security." I respond, and talk to them. I haven't got anything that's closed, but I've actually drawn up some business doing that. Ugh. Sorry, guys, I gotta get this benchmarking going here. Keep back, graphics, medium, apply, benchmark, accept. So, hopefully I helped. And this is kind of why I like having YouTube presence, because I'll be honest, I'm 28. Okay. I've had a fair bit of experience in life for my age. And I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from a lot of really smart people, not just book smart. Like me, I'm book smart, okay? Oh, I need to go to that right away. But I've learned from people who are, experience smart, where they've done it all and they've screwed everything up that you can possibly screw up. And, I like to pass on things that I've learned to other people to help them. And in the IT space, oh, you gotta be kidding me. In the IT space, at least in the break fix, computer, all that stuff, I've learned a lot. I'm really good at it. One of the better people that you could run into at it. For example, I'll give you a really good example. Linus. Love Linus's. I love his work. I love what he does. I think that he is pivotal to our industry because he isn't Steve from Gamers Nexus doing really intricate, in-depth dives. He's not Jay's 2 cents doing some crazy water cooling stuff or anything like that. Linus is the guy that brings the 14-year-old into the industry, and then they branch off into other areas. That's Linus. And that's why I like his work. But from a pure, hands-on experience with hardware, he doesn't have the recent experience I do, and I'll explain. You can tell me any general spec or ask about what the specs are for this CPU, and I could tell you what they are. I've worked with them all a lot. And Linus, kind of, because he does so many crazy things, he's not up to date on some of the older things out there. So that would be kind of an example. Love his work, though. I watch him all the time. I think what he does is really important in our industry. And without him, I think we wouldn't be where we're at today. Come on. 40.66. Sorry, I'm just running a benchmark, so. Oh, nice, got a trinket. Sweet. Okay. Let's see if I can get this flight path and I'll go back. But yeah, that's kind of my point is, Linus deals with so many things outside of mainstream hardware that, if I were to say which CPU performs better, he'd probably say, I really don't know. I could tell you. Which GPU performs better? He's probably might be able to tell you, but he would have to think about it. I can tell you all that stuff. I've done it. But that's all I do. He does crazy shit. like really crazy stuff and really interesting stuff, and he's far more entertaining than I am. So I'm not downplaying LTT by any stretch. I've actually worked with this team a little bit throughout the years, not for anything for me necessarily. I worked with Luke with the early parts of Razer Comms, that whole debacle. So, well, at 2 hours, I feel that I've probably streamed quite a while. Probably gonna go reconvene with my wife and chill with the dog for a little bit, because he's really missing us. So, you know, we were gone for quite a while. But Demetrius, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to PC Budget Solutions Facebook page, which I really need to get more active. Leave a comment. I'm gonna stop. I mean, my email's changed anyway. Not that anybody's ever spammed me or anything, but eventually I hope to grow to the point where I won't be able to answer emails at that level. But yeah, there's a lot of ways you can reach out to me if you have any questions, concerns, want some opinions, advice, anything that can help out with life, pursuit of happiness, computers, and that goes with anybody that's watching. So, but as always, this is Steve from PC Budget Solutions, and I'll see you later on down the road, as I